the city by the bay in the Sports Leader Studios. Broadcasting to all of Northern California, this is KNBR Tonight.
Way back there, it is gone! A home run for FP Santangelo.
With FP Santangelo.
A three-run shot, and the Giants lead 4-1.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680, Sports Leader.
At their own 49, Chiefs second down and 10. Four-man rush, shotgun snap, back to pass, Mahomes 7. Winds up, long pass, down the middle, he's got him! Over the shoulder, drop! A drop at the 2 by Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Off his gloves, incomplete. 3rd and 10, stunned silence at Arrowhead. Wow!
Jacob coming back to California from a week in Hawaii, coming in hot with that song. It was a good game, right? 21-17. Eagles go to 9-1. The Eagles are weird, man. They just look like they suck, and all of a sudden they find a way to win. They look big and slow and strong, but they look slow, and Jalen Hurts looks bad, and then they just win. Like, the Niners are flashy, man. The Niners... It seems like the Eagles are like a pickup truck, like a nice pickup truck, like one that will run you over, maybe in the bike lane, like I almost got run over on the way to work tonight by another guy. Almost had a head-on collision, scooter versus scooter. I was like, stay in your lane, bro. And I looked at him, he had a couple teardrop tattoos. I'm like, no, we're good. I don't want to die on the way to work tonight. But the Eagles win 21-17. They go to 9-1. A great game, very entertaining. Very smart to put that on our air. That obviously has implications, and now it's going to be a tough road for home field advantage for the Niners. We, I hate when people say that, but we needed that win. The Niners needed that win. But they got one yesterday, 27. They needed, obviously, the Chiefs to win. But the Niners needed that win on Sunday, too. They won 27-14 yesterday. You guys know that. Brock Purdy was the story of the day. But here's the thing. 808 KNBR, we got an hour together tonight. So quick segment, set the show, phone calls. I still think the Niners are better than both teams that played tonight. Do you agree or disagree? 808 KNBR. Is that a bold statement? Eagles are 9-1. I don't know. They look slow. They look big. They did look physical. Niners are physical too, though. But the Niners are fast and physical. The Eagles look like, I don't know, like they're in the gym a lot. And the Niners look like they're bodyweight CrossFit, and just like explosion. And the Eagles are like just going to run you over like a pickup truck. So that's my amazing analysis. But I'm serious. Like I think the Niners are better than both of those teams. And you could call and tell me I'm crazy. You guys know this is an open forum. I'm not going to crush you if you disagree. That's what we do here at night, right? We take calls. It's a safe place. Nobody crushes anybody. We have fun. Only rule is you can't swear, which I think is stupid. If it was up to me, we could all swear because that's how we talk in real life, just like Pat McAfee's show on ESPN. They swear on ESPN. We got to start swearing on KNBR. So Brock Purdy was amazing yesterday. Perfect quarterback rating. The only other time, Joe Montana. I don't know that he's there yet. He needs a few rings. He needs some jewelry. He's a little Liberace going on, some jewelry on his fingers. Then we can start that talk. But the whole narrative of Brock Purdy is a great story. Can we put that to bed? Like, this isn't a great story. He's just a damn good football player, period. That's it. No more, Mr. Irrelevant makes good. This is like watching Rudy in real life. No. Good football player. Stop. That's it. Brock Purdy's a good football player with a combination of confidence and poise and his fearless nature. I will talk about that. I'm going to take a quick break. Jacob is answering the phones right now, but as soon as he gets you guys all locked and loaded, I'm going to take a quick break. But I want to talk about what it means to be fearless as an athlete. What does that even mean? Because Brock Purdy has that. So the topic at hand for now, we got an hour together. Let's rock an hour. You guys want to rock an hour together? 808 KNBR, let's do it. Are the Niners better than both teams that played tonight? Because the Chiefs have dropped, or the Chiefs, you can't say that. They're paying Mahomes a lot. The Chiefs have dropped 26 passes this year. They dropped 5 tonight. You're not going to win a Super Bowl dropping 5 passes. There's a video right now on Twitter or X or whatever the hell we're calling it. Mahomes goes to throw his something into the stands. I forget what it was, like a headband or something, and they dropped it. The fans reached over and dropped it after the game, after he dropped 5 passes and the one we just played coming in. So what do you think? I think the Niners are better than both teams tonight. I want to hear your opinion. That's what this show's about. 808 KNBR. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to KNBR Tonight on The Sports Leader.
This is Greg Papa, your voice of 49ers football. Papa and Lund, 10 to 2, right here
on KNBR and KNBR FM, San Francisco. Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo continues live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix progressive jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
4th and officially 25. There's a shotgun snap from the Chiefs 34. Mahomes drifts back, winds up, long pass, far side, off the fingertips of the receiver, and incomplete at the 40, and Philadelphia is going to win it. There was a pass to Watson who leapt high and it ricocheted off his gloved hands, which are above his red helmet on the far side of the field at the 40. It's incomplete. On downs, the Eagles get it. The Chiefs are out of timeouts, and the Eagles are going to finally beat the Chiefs.
So you guys saw the game, 808 KNBR. Do you think the Niners are better than both teams? Do you think the Eagles are better than the Niners? Do you think the Chiefs are better than everyone? Because I'll tell you this, I went through a gamut of emotions through that game as far as what I was thinking. At first, I'm thinking the Chiefs are like, they're not even playing good tonight. They're beating the Eagles. And then I tweeted something about the Chiefs are like an organized, well-coached pickup game that is hard to defend in the street. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do you stop them? Unless they stop themselves like they did tonight with all the drops. Because it's just, it's so improvisational, their offense. Yeah, it's organized. Yeah, it's schematic and the motions and trying to see where the coverages is. But when things break down, I don't think there's a team better in football than the Chiefs as far as Mahomes ad-libbing. I also thought this tonight. Help me out here. When there was incomplete passes from Mahomes to his receivers, I'm like, Brock Purdy makes that pass. So here I am thinking, not resume and paycheck and contract and all that stuff. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's better than Patrick Mahomes, but I'm saying right now Brock Purdy's better than Patrick Mahomes as we speak tonight watching this show. Not body of work, but this week. A perfect passer rating. You look at all these tweets that I screenshot with all what he's number one in and passer rating has the highest passer rating for any quarterback in the NFL in the last 2 weeks combined. I mean, it's a new record in the NFL. We have that on KNBR.com, so check that out. Our digital team is just doing a great job with all this Purdy stuff. Yeah, the last 2 weeks, he has a 157.3 quarterback rating. Highest quarterback rating in 2-game stretch in NFL history. 40 for 51, 629, 6 TDs, no interceptions. Brock Purdy, ladies and gentlemen. So let's bury the whole, this is such a sweet story, it's Rudy narrative, and he's a damn good football player, period. Simple, end of story. The arm strength thing that I was wondering about on the show because of the surgery, he's fine. Like, he's fearless, but he's still aggressive. And I think any sport, especially at the highest level, if you have any trepidation or any fear, the sport exposes you. In basketball, if you're scared to pull the trigger on a three-pointer, you're scared to drive in the lane because there's too big of guys, you get exposed. In baseball, if you're scared to take the extra base, if you're nervous on defense, the ball's going to find you. Like, baseball is made for the fearless. Football is made for the fearless. Basketball is made for the fearless. And the guys that have zero fear, but that are still aggressive, they're not afraid to make mistakes. I'll tell you what, it's embarrassing in front of 40,000 people to make an error. It's embarrassing to let a called third strike go by. It's embarrassing to get picked off of second base. But the best base runners, the best pitchers that pound the strike zone, they're coming right after you. They're not throwing 3-1 sliders in the dirt for ball 4 up by 5 runs. They're fearless. It's strike one all day. Here it is, hit it. Those are the best players. In basketball, Steph Curry, you think he's ever scared to take a three-pointer or what it's going to look like if you airball? You don't care. He's fearless. Brock Purdy has that combination of gunslinger meets aggressive, meets I don't give a F, meets fearless. Like, he's fearless. And that's a dangerous combo. With his accuracy and those throws he's making over the middle. How about those replays of the throws he made yesterday with, like, just over the linebacker's outstretched hands and then perfect spiral right on the money. I'm just sitting there. I watched it at the bus stop. Great bar, great people. Shout out to Jesse, the bartender there yesterday. Amazing. So you watch it, you're half talking. Then I rewatch it at home this morning. Tried to heal my voice this weekend. It's doing better, so thanks for all your concern. But yeah, he is the perfect combo. And I was pounding the MVP drum, and then I backed off it obviously, when he had the little 3-game spell, but he's right back in the mix. He's right back in the MVP mix. And it's based on how the Niners finish. But, like, do you think they're the best team right now, based on what you saw tonight? I know, let's not forget about the Lions. I mean, like, we have to add the Cowboys in there, right? In the NFC. The Lions are 8-2. The Cowboys are 7-3. The Eagles now 9-1. The Ravens, they're a complete football team, but ... The Browns, whatever. The Chiefs are 7-3 now. The Dolphins are 7-3. The Jaguars are 7-3. I'm talking about the best team in the NFL. So what I was getting at in the middle of this ADD rant was, I was thinking early in the game that the Chiefs are the best team. I mean, even and then I saw them start to get exposed a little bit. Kelsey dropped a pass. I mean, there was drop passes everywhere. And they weren't playing sharp. Their defense impressed me tonight. I didn't know the Chiefs had that good a defense, or they were just playing out of their minds. But then, here come the Eagles are like Rocky, man. They just kind of hang around, get their ass kicked, get punched, take a punch, hang around, and then knock you out. I mean, they kind of personify the city they play in. They're big, they're physical. I mean, they have talent. But it doesn't seem they don't play as fast as the Niners do. And the Niners are fast and physical, and the Niners, I think, have better skilled position people. We'll see. I mean, 2 weeks, right? But you got the Seahawks first. Geno Smith got dinged up. I watched that game today, too. He landed on his elbow. Came in late, led him to a drive. His elbow's barking. Short week. We'll see if he plays, because if he doesn't play, they got no chance. All right, phone lines are lit. Let's go. Go to the phones. Omar, lead us off tonight, baby. You're on KNBR. Don't get nervous.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Omar?
Good. I think, Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback right now. For some reason, I think he's actually top 3 if you want to put him. I would put him, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. Maybe in I don't know what order I would put him in, but maybe Patrick Mahomes because he's won a couple Super Bowls. But I don't know. I think he's up there. I don't think Josh Allen is as good as him. Can we stop talking about Josh Allen being a good quarterback? He's not as good as a quarterback as everybody thinks he is. Passes. I mean, Brock Purdy has 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions for the year. I mean, I know we had that 3-game losing streak, and the game against the Browns wasn't even his fault, I mean, Moody missed we're supposed to be on a 2-game losing streak instead of a 3. If it wasn't for Moody, and great quarterbacks lead us down the field. I know he didn't have a great game, but he led us down the field to have a chance to win the game. And he doesn't have to kick the ball. I mean, he can't kick the ball too, So I would think that we'd be on a 2-game losing streak. And then I think he played good in the Bengals game and in the other loss that we had. That's where he got his interceptions, in those 2 games against the Vikings and the Bengals.
Yeah, man, I'll take him. I mean, like I said, I watched 2 of the top quarterbacks play against each other tonight, and I thought Brock's better than both of them as we speak. Like, I'm not talking about body of work. He's still got, Mahomes has got some rings and some jewelry and the contract and the fancy house with the golf course in the backyard and all that stuff. And I think Brock Purdy stays healthy. He's going to have all that. But, like, just as we speak right now, like, you look at all the different categories. He's number 1 in QBR. He's first in yards per attempt. He's first in completion percentage. He's first in passer rating. He's tied for first in 40-yard-plus completions with 7. I mean, the dime to Ayuk, the dime to Kittle last week in traffic. So he's checking all the boxes for me. And the number 1 box he checks, Omar, is just he's fearless, man. Like I'm hearing stories and reading stuff online about he's saying, shut the F up. This is my huddle. Like, because guys like to talk in the huddle. Like he's got it all, man. He's the perfect combination of what the Niners need. And here's the thing, like, I'm doing this for tomorrow's show because this is just a quick one tonight. We're going to have a big segment on this. If he's a system quarterback, Omar, how many other of Kyle Shanahan's quarterbacks have had a perfect quarterback rating if he's a system quarterback? Like, let's look at all the quarterbacks in the history of Kyle Shanahan, going back to when they were the Redskins, to the Falcons, and the Niners. Like, has he ever had a quarterback? And why didn't Jimmy G do this? The difference between Jimmy G, and you guys know I'm a Jimmy G lover, and Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy's way more mentally tough than Jimmy G. Period. That's it. Jimmy G's got a cannon. He spins it like nobody's business, but he gets nervous in the pocket. Jimmy G probably didn't command a huddle. Jimmy G's the cool kid in your class that everybody wants to hang out with, but like he doesn't like necessarily like adhere to the rules, and he's kind of a rebel, but he's got all the talent, and he's that kid in high school. Brock Purdy's just this little badass bulldog that's not going to take no for an answer, that when things get tough, he gets tougher. That bye week came at a perfect time for him to mentally reset. And everybody's been telling him he's too short, his arm isn't strong enough in this his whole life, and 262. He played with a chip on his shoulder. He's always got to play with a chip on his shoulder. And maybe he was smelling the roses a little bit too much for a second. And that bye week came at a perfect time. But that's the difference between the two. We can sit here and break down like percentages and have all the analytics. But if you want an athlete's take on all this, Brock Purdy's more mentally tough than Jimmy G. And that's the difference. And that's why he's so successful with this team. Because Brock Purdy Jimmy G had almost the same tools, the same toolbox that Brock Purdy has. Maybe a little different without the CMC, but he did have the CMC for a minute. So, I mean, why isn't Brock Purdy, why isn't Jimmy G, why didn't he do what Brock Purdy's doing? Because Brock Purdy's, for not getting fired, he's more mentally tough. And you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I feel like Brock Purdy, one thing about him, he has that it factor that if the play breaks down, if the play is not there, he's going to improvise and he's going to make a play. If that was Jimmy G in the back, he's going to get sacked. If the play breaks down and the play is not there, Jimmy G is going to get sacked. But Brock Purdy will leave the pocket for how smart he is, and he'll throw a ball across the field, across his body, and make a touchdown. Anyways, I also want to say the Eagles don't have a good. They won this game, but they also have a hard stretch coming up. They have the Bills coming up, they have the Cowboys again coming up, they have the Seahawks coming up. I think they lose at least 2 of those next 3 games. One of them is at home, the other 2 are away. So I think they lose 2 out of the next 3 games. We'll see. Anyways,
we'll see. One at a time, Omar. Go 1-0 on Thursday, right? That's a quick. Yeah, sure, that's a quick. How do they do that? Toradol, lots of Toradol this week. All right, thanks, Omar. Let's go to David in Roseville. David, about the game tonight and the Niners. What's going on, David? How are you?
Awesome, FP. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be on talking to you guys. We're just going to rock it for an hour tonight. Just like we're going to empty the tank for an hour. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, really impressed with the Eagles' offensive line tonight. They had the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1. And the guys, corn-fed, got down low, and they just blew out the legs of the defensive line for KC, and they got those 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, man. They got those first downs.
David, before you keep going, and we were talking about this off air, and I have it for a segment for tomorrow night. How do you stop the tush push? Like, how do you stop that? Like, we were just up there just riffing about is it stoppable? Is there a way to stop that, do you think?
Your line's got to be bigger and stronger than theirs, because their O-line is great with Kelsey and who else? Langford and all these guys. Those guys are just big corn-fed dudes, man, and they get down low and they blow your legs out, and it's hard to stop when you need 1 yard for on a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1.
What if the defensive line goes lower than the offensive line, right? So you just submarine, and that's what we used to do in high school. I know high school is not the NFL. They go lower,
yeah,
and then the second wave goes right on top of those guys. So you got the lowest, and then you got low. Because I'm seeing guys jump over, and Fred Warner timed one. I forget who it was against, whatever. But, like, going over is not – because what they're doing is they're kind of creating a tunnel, right? And then you get under the tunnel, and you can't get touched because they got the push going. But what if the first line of defense goes lower than the offensive line, and then the second –
I know what play you're talking about, and that was like in the 4th game of the season, and Fred Warner went over the top and met him right in the middle and knocked him back.
Yeah, so, that was a fluke, though.
I don't know. I guess that's what you got to do. The thing that was cool tonight is the camera went in and you just saw how low those guys were. And then on top of it, KC, they couldn't catch a pass, and you knew the game was over on that bomb. I think second down, and they just it might have been 3rd down. It went long, right off his fingertips. And then the next play, he turns around, he throws it to the water boy. the Philly water boy on third down. Like, okay, this game's over. The water boy dropped it. So he probably should have been a wide receiver for Kansas City tonight.
David, good stuff, man. Yeah, I don't think you can stop that. I want to do a whole segment. I want somebody to call with an idea tomorrow of how to stop the tush push. David from Roseville, thanks for the call, bro. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
War when the 49ers meet Philly.
I know. Well,
awesome.
First things first, got to go 1-0 against the Seahawks on Thursday.
Right.
That'd be cool.
All right, FP, do it again. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, dude. When's the last time the Niners played on Thanksgiving? Like, that's cool. I know there's 18,000 games now. It used to be the Lions and the Cowboys, and that was it. And then you go tryptophan, like, high from the turkey, and it's tough to stay awake because you got the fire going, and then you got, like, the full belly with tryptophan, and you're just going coma with the drool coming out after dinner. But I want to get into the mental toughness thing. What is mental toughness? You guys know that's my wheelhouse. Like, I love talking about what separates guys. And at the highest level, whether it's PGA on a Sunday at a major, whether it's an NFL quarterback on a Sunday in a big game, whether it's a frontline pitcher in the World Series of a Game 7, like what separates us all? Because in a world where we have everything on computers and analytics, and we have formulas and all kinds of stuff for everything, the one thing that separates the good from the great and the great from the best is mental toughness. It really is. And it's believing in yourself. I want to touch on that. So if you're on hold, stay right there. We're still rocking the phones like we always do. Going to take a quick commercial break. 808 KNBR is the number to talk some mental toughness on the other side. You're listening to Frank Paul Santangelo on the Sports Leader.
KNBR at your pad on your Apple HomePod. KNBR Tonight with former Giant F.P. Santangelo. Now continues on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Brock in the shotgun, first down, plenty of time, now gets hit as he throws, and it's caught by Brandon Ayuk again, into Tampa territory, 40, down the right sideline, stepped out of bounds on the 34-yard line. Opened up wide, and then Brandon Ayuk went yakety-yak all over Tampa Bay for a gain of 37 yards. Purdy going to can the play here as three receivers right, Ayuk and Juszczyk left, going deep down the sideline for Ayuk. He's got it, and he's gone. 20, 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
House call, baby. What a throw from Brock Purdy.
Kind of look like I could be driving one tonight, by the way, with my beanie on. That was a sick pass. But watching it again today, the first touchdown to Christian McCaffrey was just genius. Like, you just, swing pass in the flat. But if you watch the replay on that and how he shifted a little bit to the left, he was on the left side of Purdy, shotgun, couple shuffle steps left. The line kind of pulls to the right, and then he sneaks through the tackle guard gap. McCaffrey does. Into the flats. Like the 6'6" guys camouflaged him, and almost like a running play, but he didn't have the ball. He goes through the line, he's in the flats, he's wide open. Purdy hits him, touchdown, Christian McCaffrey. Like little things like that. If you start watching the offense a little more closely, which I've done the last few weeks, and start to watch the shifts and the motions and what the defense does, and they're showing you what they're going to do, and then the play itself, and not just the end of the play and how they got to the play, it's like it's mind-blowing stuff. It's mind-blowing stuff. It's not quite like Elon Musk launching rockets that blow up halfway because you got that kind of money and just like, oh, that was a good launch because it almost got there. It's not like that, but it is genius stuff. And I'm really digging what I'm seeing. Mental toughness, what is it? It's just believing in yourself. That's all it is. And I feel like the guys that are the tremendous athletes that work harder than everybody, and they take what they have and their God-given gifts and take it to another level, and the confidence level and the work ethic, and then the performance, and then it's this inner belief that they just have this attitude, maybe even a dark side to it, where it's not just all just like, they have a little dark side to them. They're not just like, hi, I'm here to beat you. It's like, I'm going to rip your throat out and rip your heart out and show it to you while it's still beating, kind of a mentality. But the belief in yourself. So you have the upper echelon players that sign the big contract. Some of them sit on the contract, take a deep breath because it's human nature. Others feel the responsibility, the drive, the desire to be even greater than the contract is, so that nobody talks about the contract. I've been around those athletes. I've been around the guys that sit on the contract and take a deep breath and maybe play too many cards and smoke cigars, whatever. I've been around those guys too. Then there's guys like Brock Purdy that have the chip on their shoulder. And the only way that they're going to survive in this world of sports, the Darwinism of the sports world, the top of the food chain, the 1% of the 1%, is believing in yourself when nobody else does. And having that chip on your shoulder to show people they're wrong all the time. And when I've done motivational speaking and I do a speech, there's two types of people in this world. There's people that when they tell you can't do something, you're like, oh, you're right. And there's people that are F you, I'm going to show you you're wrong. Brock Purdy's the second one. And he's got to always have that. And you're like, well, he does, FP. He's got to find ways to keep that chip on his shoulder when the money starts rolling in, the fame starts rolling in, the record starts rolling in, his teammates are telling him he's great, the coaches are telling him he's great, the fans are telling him he's great, his family's telling him he's great, everybody's telling him he's great. That's a hard thing, man. That's not a small thing. When you're in the spotlight and everybody's telling you how good you are and you start to believe it, there's a tendency to take a deep breath like human nature and just go like, okay, I've arrived. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not in his head. It seemed like maybe he did that for a second, and now he's back. And you hear the quotes after the game, whether it's George Kittle, whether it's Christian McCaffrey, that he's got that chip back on his shoulder. And he's always got to play with that. And that's where the mental toughness comes in. That's where when all of a sudden things start to go south, or I was at the top of the mountain, I get knocked down, because we all do no matter what we do in life. You got to believe in yourself more than anybody. And you have to have that mental toughness and that fearless nature in life and anything you do. that you don't give a F what anybody thinks. You do your thing. You work your ass off behind the scenes when nobody's looking, so that when you're out in front of everybody, whether it's your job, whether it's at your office, whether it's in front of 70,000 people at Levi Stadium, that you put the hay in the barn and let's go. Let's just hit the autopilot button because I've done all the work and I believe in myself. There's so many guys. You guys would be shocked at the highest level. There's so many guys that would sit next to me on the bench. I'm not going to name names. They'd be like, how does my swing look? Do I look okay today? I'd be like, bro, you're so-and-so. Are you kidding me? And even those guys, at times, long periods of time, didn't believe in it. I've heard stories of some of the greatest players in the history of the game. Multiple MVPs would say things to their hitting coaches like, I'm the worst hitter in baseball. So, to me, what separates, I don't want to get into names, what separates great from good, from Thursday, Friday to Saturday, Sunday at a major, what separates, I don't know, did Joe Montana have all the tools in the world? I mean, he wasn't blessed with a cannon like John Elroy. Did Derek Jeter have all the talent in the world, the tools? Derek Jeter have a cannon? Was he like Jack? Did he just go up there and hit bombs? He found ways to win. He believed in himself. Brock Purdy is along those lines of guys that just want to beat you and guys that believe in themselves and they find a way to win. When we have all the metrics and all the analytics and all the data to make players better. We have all this science, too, now with the weightlifting, the workouts, the speed, the fast twitch, the this, the that. We have the nutritionists. We have everything. What separates players now, to me, everybody has that at their fingertips. It's believing in yourself, and it's about being a winning player. There's no analytic for that. There's no analytic for winners. And they want to find a way to beat your ass any way they can. And they're going to find a way to beat your ass any way they can. And that's their only goal every single day they step on the field, whether it's once a week, whether it's 7 times a week, whether it's every other night if you're a basketball player, whatever it is, hockey player, whether you're a CEO of a corporation, whether you're on your way up in a corporation, where you've been working for somewhere for 15 years, you find a way to beat somebody's ass. You find a way. And say, hey, there's temptations to do it however you're going to do it, too. If like winning, I was addicted to winning. Like, I would have done anything to win. Because to me, it's the greatest drug I've ever experienced, the greatest drug I'll ever experience. There's nothing like it. I hated freaking losing. You're supposed to win. Maybe the high wasn't as good as I wanted it to be from winning, but it was there, man. And there was nothing like winning because you come back in the locker room, you play the music, you can do whatever you want on the bus, whatever you want on the plane, whatever you do in the hotel room. You can walk by your manager at 6 a.m, hungover or still drunk or whatever, and he doesn't care because you're winning. Like, it's all about winning. And that's what Brock Purdy represents to me. Like, all those other guys, too, like CMC, Bosa, I mean, Chase Young, Juszczyk. I mean, I'd go down the line. Ayuk, I mean, what a great game he had. These guys all want to win. And the one thing I've found out watching the Niners real closely for the last 2 years is they all check their egos at the door, and they don't care who gets the credit. Brock Purdy doesn't give a crap if he gets the credit, but it's still there. It's still there. Man, there is so much temptation to take a deep breath and say, man, I've arrived. And I'm probably one of the best quarterbacks in football. So I had to fight that. That's why I'm saying this is from personal experience. So I had a couple of good years, 2 or 3 of them, and I almost made the All-Star team one year. And Bobby Cox came up and said it was tough leaving you off, but we can only take Pedro Martinez. And I thought, I got this, man. I'm going to start making some big bucks. I got this. And my whole life, I was a salmon swimming upstream, like against the current, fighting it the whole way, trying to get to where I'm getting to. And then I got there and I started having some success. And I bought a Mercedes, and I felt weird driving a Mercedes. And then I stayed in this really nice place in downtown Montreal that was it felt weird. Like, I was always the guy that was driving the jalopy. I was always the guy staying in the apartment with 5 guys. And then here's all this money, here's all this fame, your name's in the headlines, you're getting touted for Rookie of the Year, you're driving a Mercedes. There's temptation, man, to take it's called being human. So the fact that Brock Purdy's been able to reset after the 3-week little thing and the bye week and come back and do what he's done the last 2 weeks and have the highest quarterback rating in the history of the NFL the last 2 weeks combined, like all of that narrative, let's put it to bed, man. All the Rudy, Rocky crap. No, he's just a damn good football player. He's not a damn good quarterback. He's a damn good football player. He plays football every Sunday, and his position is quarterback. Let's go to Craig in Arizona. Craig, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, I've got quite an ADD rant for you if you're willing.
Sure. I don't think you should ever title it before. You just do it and then go.
Okay, mental toughness. My two guys I'm voting for are John Wooden and Jack Nicklaus. What do you think of that?
Yes. I mean, sure.
Okay.
That's your ADD rant? That was a lot shorter than I expected.
No, we're still going.
Okay.
Niners, if we stay healthy, we will be in the NFC Championship game. From there, I have no idea. But we are a great football team. I've been a Niners fan since a long time ago in the 70s, so that's what I'm saying. Hey, FP, I got a great show idea for you, and that would be at the end of the season, I got on your show and I said my two favorite Giants this year were you and Bill Lasky. So I'd like to ask you if we could do a special hot stove show in December, January, or February so we can get to know you and Bill a little bit better. I can participate and ask you questions like Raquel Welch or Christy Brinkley.
Craig, we can't live in the 70s, dude. This is 2023, man. We got to spice it up a little bit on this station. We're trying to stay current. So I don't think Christy Brinkley or Raquel Welch is going to go over really great. But I appreciate, I was out in the marina yesterday with a bunch of friends after the Niners game, and I was talking sports with some girls, and they were really knowledgeable. So I'm thinking about once a week having Marina Girl Power Hour on my show now from 9 to 10. And just calling up a few of my friends that are Giants fans and Niner fans that happen to be women who have some really good takes. And we're going to call it Marina Girl Power Hour. So something along those lines. But yeah, Craig, I appreciate the suggestions. I'm not the program director, dude. I just talk to you guys on the phone. So maybe send a nicely worded email to our new program director and he'll think about that.
Hey, I'll do it.
Thanks, Craig. I appreciate it. Let's go to Rosenbag in San Jose.
Hey, how you doing?
Marilyn Monroe or, I don't know, some pinup girl from the 40s. Who do you got?
I don't know. Maybe some pinup girl from the 40s.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, I had her name on the top of my tongue, but this is live radio.
I see Marilyn Monroe everywhere anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, I think, yes. All right, go ahead before I get fired. What do you got tonight, Rosenbach?
Hey, I just wanted to call in about mental toughness and everything, and I think that everything that you've been saying is phenomenal. Like the insight that you just gave on, being the number one pick and everything, and kind of going and trying to living up to that has been really, I don't know. I've actually conceptualized it and felt extremely different. But what I wanted to say about mental toughness and everything else, it actually has to do a lot with the teacher. In my opinion, I think that it takes somebody that has been there and has known something to go and teach somebody to be there. And, Brock Purdy is amazing. And, but I think it's Kyle Shanahan that deserves a lot of the credit because I just think that
Are you there, Rosenbach? Ooh, Rosenbach dropped. That's all right. Call back, Rosenbach. We'll get you back on. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit. He's a fierce competitor that's super stoic most of the time, but I love when they catch him doing fist pumps on good plays. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan fan. I'm a coach's son, man. A football coach's son at that. So he's a coach's son, and yeah, I'm a big fan. His outfit wasn't as good this week, the Kyle Shanahan fashion review. His best one was last week with the red half-zip hoodie and the black hat that he threw in the stands. I want one of those. I want one of those. I want one of those. But they went with the military sweatshirts that everyone's wearing this week, so it was still a good look. Warriors won 121-116. I have it on over here in the corner. So that's good. Ding dong, the losing streak is dead. Warriors back to the win column. Put it in the win column for the Warriors. Yes. And if you were at the game and you're driving home and you're turning on the Sports Leader, help me out. Because here's the thing. This is full disclosure radio. I pull the curtain back all the time. I had them both on side by side. 808 KNBR, if you were watching the Warriors game instead of Chiefs-Eagles, I guarantee you that was one of the lowest rated Warriors games in history tonight. And no offense to the Warriors. They lost 6 in a row. They're playing the Rockets. And you have the best Monday Night Football game on of the year with the Super Bowl rematch. That they were, oh my God, pounding me over the head with Super Bowl stats, and he did this in the Super Bowl. We know they played in the Super Bowl. This is the next year. It was all Super Bowl all the time. I'm like, Uncle on Doug. Yes, I'm not a stupid sports fan. I realize these two teams played in the Super Bowl last year. I realize it was a really good game. But this is different. This is the next year, and the Chiefs can't catch a pass. They dropped 5 tonight. They've dropped 26 passes on the year. I'll say this, and it was high school football, and yeah, throw the ball over the mountain thing. I thought catching a football was the easiest thing I've ever done. I was a receiver in high school. I never dropped the pass. It just seemed simple, like catching a pop-up. Although I didn't have like 6'5" guys running 4.40s to crash into me. And I thought the one dude dropped the bomb you played coming in. I thought he lost that one on the lights maybe. Like, how do you drop that? I tweeted at RG3 because he said, you got to make that catch. And I just put lights, ? I want to see if RG3 gets back to me. See if he's a man of the people. And he reads, ooh, I got 11 responses. Maybe RG3 did. We'll check that out. Let's go to the phones again. Brett in Walnut Creek. Brett, you're on The Sports Leader with 2 million listeners. Don't be nervous.
FP, not nervous at all. You know, I'm a talk show manager when I call in, kind of like Brock Purdy being a game manager. I was thinking about that the other day about game manager. You know, we've gone over it 100 times. I'm thinking about, you're a baseball player and you're a game manager. Like, who would you be? And I'm thinking, like, you know who's a pretty darn good game manager? Greg Maddux. He wasn't the biggest arm. He's not going to throw it 99 miles, 105 miles an hour past you. Not going to have this wicked breaking ball. But he's going to outthink you, going to outpitch you, and he's going to beat you. It's kind of like I see Brock Purdy. Obviously he's not 6'5", doesn't have the rocket arm, but he's smart. He's going to outthink you. He's going to outplay you and outbeat you, which is really kind of what I'm thinking. Like, if you're a manager of anything, outthinking, outplaying, Survivor. Are you the game manager if you win Survivor? Because you played the game better than anybody else. You're a game manager. I think it gets. I put him as a game leader. He knows how to lead men, knows how to operate a system. Which again, that's the whole point of being in a system is to operate that system, to have a game plan. It's like if you're going to the plate, FP, and you've got a game plan, and your game plan is there. Well, I'm going to get on base. I'm going to work a single. Are you a bat manager? I don't really understand that. So I liken him. It's too hard to start to say, he's going to be, Hall of Fame, but, all pro. I think that's certainly in the cards.
But Brett, let me stop you real quick. And this was going on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it today. And it kind of got to me for a second. Like, why can't we just enjoy the season? Why do we have to have a debate about Brock Purdy, whether he's a flash in the pan or he's a game manager? We have to put a label and qualify everything now. Why can't we just all sit back as Niner fans and enjoy the ride right now? Like, this is a great football team playing great football, and they're about to go on a 3-game stretch. It's going to be tough. Like, they're going to Seattle, even though Geno Smith is dinged up with his elbow. He landed on his elbow yesterday. Even though he's dinged up, that's a place where, hey, the Niners have had their struggles minus last year. And then they got to go to Philadelphia, which is like one of the hardest places in the world to win anything, whether you're playing baseball, football, basketball, or hockey. And then they come back and they play Seattle again at home. And all the talk on Twitter has been about Purdy, and he's a system guy. And even George Kittle had a good quote yesterday. Maybe we'll dig it up here in the commercial break about, like, system guy, huh? So, like, it's just they're all defending him, and I am too, and I have to a fault maybe. But, like, everything you're saying, Brett, I agree with you 100%. But, like, this is the thing, and you're kind of getting the brunt of what I've been thinking all day, is, like, why do we have to label everything all the time? Why do we have to say, like, Brock Purdy's going to be the next Joe Montana? Brock Purdy's going to be an all-pro. Brock Purdy might be the MVP. Like, I think maybe this is a player in me, Brad, like, just one game at a time, man, and just soak this all in, because before you know it, the football season's going to be over, and then we're just stuck with basketball. And then we have to wait till spring training for baseball. And I don't mean stuck with basketball. I love watching the Warriors, not when they lose 6 in a row. But do you feel me on that a little bit, Brad? Like, let's just enjoy this ride, and it's an incredible ride, and this guy's turned into a straight-out baller of a quarterback?
No, I mean, I think that's a great point, FP, and I think it's interesting. You think about what gets sports talk radio and people talking, sort of both ends of the spectrum. If you come out and you're really, really highly touted and you're supposed to be the guy and you're not the guy, everyone says, oh, my God, how terrible. On the flip side, if you're not highly touted and suddenly you are the guy, everyone's going to question, like, well, wait a minute, I don't really know if he's the guy, because if he was the guy, then how did everyone else miss this? And so it's kind of like, whereas if you're in the middle, you kind of float through and you can just achieve or not achieve, and it's not going to necessarily be gauged or judged as much as you are the number one pick or Mr. Irrelevant. And so therefore it becomes something that is discussed, kind of like Patrick Bailey. Oh my gosh, here he comes. All of a sudden he's going to be Buster Posey, and we're talking about he's the greatest player ever. And so, well, why? Because kind of came out of left field, no pun intended, and showed us why we can believe about someone. And what I really think was really exciting about all that, FP, and again, you can certainly attest it, to me it says how great it is, the underdog, that you don't have to be the biggest, smartest, fastest person to be successful at anything in life. And I think that's what it really tells us. And yeah, let's enjoy it for what it is, but it's also nice to look back and see what everyone thought from where it's going. So pretty exciting stuff.
Good call, Brett. Way to go, man. A+. I appreciate you calling tonight. Really good stuff. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, Brett.
You too.
All right, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, I'm going to tell you about zombie deer disease. You've never heard of that, but you're about to. And maybe, I might say this for tomorrow. Why nobody ever runs away from home anymore. Remember that was in vogue? But on the other side of the break, there's a disease going around with deers that they say could spread to people. It's called zombie deer disease. I'm going to explain that to you next. I think maybe some people have it already on the Sports Leader.
Enjoy KNBR in FM at 104.5 FM. Now back to KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on the Sports Leader.
Devo goes in long motion right. Purdy out of the shotgun, looks left, throws end zone. Caught! George Kittle in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco.
Kittle has been absolutely on fire in 5 of the last 6 games.
Yeah, system quarterback, right? It's crazy. Just a guy who, another guy who's just taking advantage of his opportunity. Brock's fantastic, the way that he, shows up every single day. Someone asked him about his mindset, how can he be so aggressive and protect the football. And he talked about being a surgeon. He talked about having zero fear. And just that quote from him by itself just shows his maturity level and how he understands the game and what it means to play quarterback at a high level while being aggressive but taking care of the football. So that really made me happy to hear that. He doesn't surprise me. He does that every single week. He does it every single day. And you can just tell, playing football aggressively and having fun time doing it makes it a lot easier.
Oh, it's a great quote by George Kittle. George is lining up his post-playing career, by the way. Be a tremendous analyst on TV. I would listen to him all day long. I love his quotes. So Eagles win 21-17. They go to 9-1. They pulled one out of their arse today, big time. It looked like the Chiefs were going to roll at home, and then all of a sudden they lost momentum, and Kelsey fumbled on the 10, and Mahomes guys were dropping passes left and right. Dropped the bomb late in the game, and they lose. Niners win 27-14. Just a little recap of the show. Brock Purdy, 158.3 passer rating. He was 21 for 25, 333. TD interception. I might have wrote that down wrong. Niners go to 7-3. He's fearless. He's my hero. I didn't wear my big blank Brock shirt out yesterday with the rooster and the number 13 in it, but I'll wear it tomorrow night for the show. And just a recap of the show. We just have an hour here together. It was a great football game. The Warriors win 121-116. Ding dong, the streak is dead. They just had a font on the postgame show that said 20-something three-pointers made, and they put 3 p.m. And it looked like a time. They had a time on the font. You can't put 3 p.m. Anyways, just a pet peeve. Did you hear about this zombie deer disease that's going around? It might also put people at risk. Don't roll your eyes at me. There's going to be a zombie apocalypse. They scooped them all up for APEC, but now they're coming back. I'm telling you, got to head shoot them right in the brain. Despite ongoing efforts, they'll eat your heart out. They will. They literally will rip it right out and eat it in front of you while you're laying there. Despite ongoing efforts to curtail its spread in the U.S. and abroad, the lethal chronic wasting disease, CWD, as it's commonly known, remains a threat. With no vaccine or cure. In 2005, zombie deer disease struck New York after several deer were infected with chronic wasting disease, CWD. Not CMC, but CWD. Escaped from fenced-in places in upstate New York. I don't even know Oneonta County. Who cares? Only a swift, aggressive culling operation by the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, resulting in the slaughter of hundreds of deers, zombie deers. This disease apparently eats your brain away like sponges in your brain. It's a neurological disorder that affects humans and animals. That's why they're killing the deer. Otherwise, there's going to be zombies walking around trying to eat your brains and eat your heart. The disease, if I could read, causes sponge-like holes to develop in the brain of an infected animal, as well as affecting spinal fluid and other bodily tissues. Although there have been no cases of CWD spreading to humans yet, some studies suggest that it poses a risk to certain types of primates that come in contact with body fluids from the infected animals. Oh, we're all laughing now, but literally by 2025, you're going to get your brains, they're going to erode. They're like sponge-like holes are going to develop in all of our brains, and we're going to go around trying to eat each other. Prion disease, like CWD, has a long incubation period. So it can sit in your body for years, and all of a sudden, guess what? You wake up next to your wife, and she's a zombie. And that's where the whole thing, that's where the problems come in. Do I kill my wife because she's a zombie now? Or do you do? But that's the love of your life, bro. Double tap. Is that easy? For America, right? For God and country. You got to take her out. I've been married twice. Stop. It's how many times have you been married? Oh, you're going to get me fired. For as long as 2 years before showing symptoms, you could fall in love with somebody. Fly to Hawaii like you just did for a week. Get married. Come back. Even have a little zombie kid. And then you wake up and your significant other's a zombie. And then you got to whack the kid too, because you're passing on the zombies and disease to the kid. Oh my gosh. Please stop the show. Here's the symptoms if you're worried. Drastic weight loss. Wait, I might want to get it. I'm about 5 pounds overweight right now. I drank too much this weekend. Stumbling or lack of coordination. I might have it. I've been banging into crap lately. Did you got a bruise on my elbow the other day? Listlessness. Drooling. Oh my God. Where do I get tested? Excessive thirst or urination? Dude. Drooping ears? Are you looking at these things? Look right now if I'm the streaming. Lack of fear of people. I have it. All right, well, I got 2 years to talk to you guys. Dude, I just hope I don't catch it while I'm on the air. Like, it's like the symptoms come out, and then it's up to you to save the world. Jacob, you got to save the world. All right, we'll be back in our normal slot tomorrow night from 6 to 10 p.m. Talk about zombie deer disease. We'll talk some Niners at length. I'll do that whole Brock Purdy segment over again at 6 o'clock. That was a rehearsal tonight. And then we'll talk about whatever else. There's some Warriors, some free agent stuff. I don't even know what's going on in baseball. YouTube is killing my baseball knowledge right now. YouTube TV. I don't have the MLB network. I got to find a way. Anyways, thanks for all your calls tonight. It's been fun. It was a great football game. Eagles pull out a win, 21-17. They're 9-1 right now. Niners are on a roll. I started the show with, who do you think is better? I'm sticking to it, not because I'm on the sports leader like somebody tweeted at me. I just think the Niners are better. I'm sticking to that. We'll see what happens. See you guys tomorrow night. Jacob, great job. And I'll see you tomorrow night from 6 to 10 p.m. Like I say on the way out every single night. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here's the line. Zombie deer disease is going to kill us all. No, that's not the line. Swing hard in case you hit it on the sports leader.
I'm a deer hunter. I go all the time with my dad. One thing about deer, they have very good vision. One thing about me, I am better at hiding than they are at vision.